What's wrong with you people?
Welcome to Not Another Baptist Podcast. My name is Matt Hensley, and I'm joined by Kyle, soon to be homeless Bierman, and at Southwestern Seminary, you can be confident that you'll be equipped for ministry by a scripturally grounded and confessionally guided faculty. The Bible is the primary textbook in every classroom at Southwestern, and every member of the faculty is dedicated to the inerrant, authoritative, and sufficient Word of God, as well as the Baptist Faith and Message 2000. Learn more at swbts.edu/about. Kyle, I said you're soon to be homeless because you got a contract on your house.
Yes, my house is sold.
Where you are right now, and you had your eye on another house a little closer to church or something like that.
Two. Yeah.
It was going to be like a McMansion, and but instead, y'all got through some of the process and found out there was some plumbing issues, and so backed out of that one. And then there was another one, and kind of same thing happened. And so I don't know, you got 5 or 6 weeks to find you a place to stay because you ain't moving in with me.
Yeah, so it's been an adventure, and the adventure and the search continues. So we're not panicking. We're not in panic mode. But yeah, we are continuing to look for a new house that's closer to the kids' school, closer to the church, and so we'll see. It's gonna be a fun journey here the next 6 weeks or so as we detail this on the podcast.
Let's hope.
Not another home buyer podcast. There you go.
Let's hope that you find a house before the Astros sweep y'all like this weekend, I think it is. Because
I was going to say, I this is yet another week, and yet again, the Rangers are in first place. So
I thought y'all were second right now.
Oh, we're tied.
Oh, you're tied. Okay. Yeah. Because the Angels won.
Yeah. We have a 7-5 record. The Astros are currently, as we record this on Thursday morning, 6-7.
Let's go.
Hey, you know what? We'll see what happens after this weekend, but one of us will have bragging rights Monday. When we see each other on Sunday, as a matter of fact, one of us will have bragging rights for the weekend. So
yeah, I think we need to put something on it. Like you got to wear a Rangers hat or an Astros hat. Like I need to see you an Astros hat.
Okay.
If we
we'll be together with Ryan Jesperson and Downs Baptist Association Monday and Tuesday, and so let's do it. Bet. There you go.
All right.
Do you have a Rangers hat?
Yes.
Okay.
I have. You remember when they used to do? Well, they still do it, I think. But those the hats for like Memorial Day or where they would have like it would be some type of American flag type thing, and true. If Kyle, plug your ears to the listeners here. I like the Rangers, but Kyle and I, we kind of have this shtick going, and so I have to troll them. And but we lived like literally 3.1 miles from center field entrance at the ballpark in Arlington, the true and better ballpark in Arlington.
Amen.
And except it was a little hot. Let's not lie. In July, it was kind of horrible to watch a game. So I do like being able to go in the air conditioning. But I love the Rangers. Love the fact that the Rangers and the Astros are in the same division. And before, we're getting to play quite a bit. Now, of course, they've changed up how they're doing the scheduling. So, it's not the same. But anyway, it's a joy to kind of troll Kyle with that and point out that they lost to the Royals. Like, of all people.
Hey, I mean, dropped one game. We won 2 out of 3, so it's still a winning series.
But and for the record, dropped Seager.
Yeah, that's true. That hurt.
Yeah.
Now, so Matt made this disclaimer. That he is a Rangers fan. Let me say this: I am in no way an Astros fan. I loathe them. I despise them. Yep. They're the worst. Now I do have a Corpus Christi Hook hat. So I have a Astros minor league team hat. Just because it's cool.
Who cares? Because Kyle, the other day, somebody made a comment on the Twitters.
On the Twitters.
About how do these pastors? I don't even remember what it said. How do these pastors have time to pastor Twitter, like to police Twitter? It was something like that. And this like handsome genius of a AMS out there replied to say something to the effect of, check their ACP and find out. Because one of the things I've noticed is a lot of the vitriol usually happens like Monday through Thursday. Most aren't doing this on the weekends on their days off. This is usually when they're probably in their office and should be doing maybe, pastoral visits, sermon prep, something like that. I don't know what they're doing, but I'm just saying sometimes like the loudest voices that I hear, I like to go and take a little perusal of their ACP for those that maybe aren't
That's
Southern Baptist. Kyle, what is the ACP?
The ACP is the annual church profile.
And what does that
it's kind of
tell us?
like your Sunday school attendance for Southern Baptist.
Yeah.
Right. For the entire denomination.
Not always a full picture, but it is a part of the picture of what is happening at any given church. Good, bad, and ugly. For those that fill it out, usually it can show trends of maybe, baptisms to church membership, which will show maybe or give an indication to the level of effectiveness with their evangelism strategy. Those that are in Sunday school will give a picture of maybe their effectiveness in discipleship, right? Again, part of the picture, not everything. But one of the things that I noticed in my, I am not a researcher, by the way. Nobody at Lifeway is asking me to be in the research department or NAM or anywhere else. But in just my armchair research development, I have noticed a trend of many of these guys, the more active they are on the Twitters, let's just say, their ACP ain't pretty. Some of them are effectively growing their church from about 150, 160 down to about 40 or 50 with 3 or 4 baptisms in the last 4 years, the one that I'm thinking of. And like, bro, pastor your church. More than that, don't be horrible on the Twitters or on the baseball field. Kyle,
yes.
All of these things bring us to this topic today. Because you recently had a parent that was on y'all's team, I guess, part of y'all's team.
So my son is not playing. He is announcing, however, and so I was at a little league game earlier this week that my son was announcing, and they had a 13-year-old umpire. Now this is 9 and 10-year-old. Okay, they were playing. So what we call like minor league and little league.
Whoever that is, I guarantee is better than Angel Hernandez.
So it was a 13-year-old up, and already some of the parents weren't happy about the fact that there's a young teenager. But and so the one of the guy who's the president of this league is a part of our church, and he just said, like, we got who we could get. Like, I mean, folks are not signing up to just lining up to umpire little league games. And I discovered why. Because these parents, adult, grown individuals, absolutely were torching this 13-year-old umpire to the point that late in the game, this kid actually threw out a parent. Turned around and it was perfect, man. I mean, perfect form. They gave him the old heave-ho and threw him out. And I was just a fly on the wall because kind of like a train wreck, right? Like you just can't look away. And so like I stepped outside the press box because I just wanted to observe and see what was happening. And I overheard a conversation between one of the board members of the league and a parent, and the parent was just complaining, "This isn't fair. Why do you have a kid?" And the board member just simply said, "We have lots of spaces. We have plenty of space on our board if you would like to come and help serve. And we even have, we have some openings for umpires." And no, that's not what this is about. And well, it is. And I just thought, man, how embarrassing. Like, do these folks feel good about themselves when they go home and they're like, "Man, I gave it to that kid that was umpiring tonight."
Yeah.
He was wrong. I was right. And I want the same thing sometimes when we get into Twitter. Now, you and I both, if you've been on social media at all, you've probably posted something and then later gone, maybe I shouldn't have posted maybe I didn't say that in the right way.
Yeah.
And, I came across an acrostic a while back, and it's cheesy and it's corny. So that means it's right in our court here, right? And it's simply to think. Then this is the acrostic. Think before you post, not after you post, before you post. Think through these things. So let's walk through those, Matt.
Yeah. First, before we do, fun fact: I was nearly tossed from a softball game. Not for
was it church league?
No. It was like like a not t-ball, but softball, girls softball, and I was just joking, like complete, just being mad. I was up there, before every swing, like whoop whoop whoop, like just yelling and just annoying everybody. And the umpire came up to the fence and was like, "Sir, you need to tone it down, or I'm going to have to toss you." And I was like, "Oh, I've I've never been tossed, even from church league." So yes,
this is kind of tempting. Like should I continue? Just
yeah,
to say that I have been ejected once.
I could have that. That would be a story for my memoir one day. So the think, we're going to walk through that. Number one, is it true? And then, is it helpful? Is it inspiring? Is it necessary? Is it kind? That's the think. We're Baptists. Yep. We like those acronyms or alliterations. This one is an acronym, my friends. And we'll begin with true. First of all, is whatever it is that you're about to post, is it true? The immediate thing here is like, we're not supposed to lie. So, is it, and I think part of that also, we should say, is it true? And if it's not wholly true, is it characterized truthfully? Because there are some things that may be like factually correct, but not in the right context or whatever it is. And so is it true? True or false? Like, there's no gray area here. Is it true? So number one, is it true? Kyle, any thoughts there, quick?
Yeah, you touched on this. Is it true? Is it not? Is it half? Not is it a half truth? Not am I twisting the truth to make myself look better or this other person look bad? Not am I misconstruing the no? Is it true?
Yeah.
Full stop. And if not, full stop. Stop right there.
Yeah, we ran into that a little bit with the pastors' conference. There were some issues with one of our speakers, and that was wonderful, godly, conservative, solid. Everything about him was great, and took some stuff out of context of something that he said. And what was out of context, what they were saying was true, right? Out of context, but in context was not. He was saying the exact opposite, and so yes. Question number one, is it true or not? That should be the quick guard that before I click send, is what I'm posting true?
And as believers, shouldn't we care about that? Like, even if you really despise, let's even go so far as to say you hate someone, right? That's its own issue. You need to deal with Jesus about that. But
let's talk about you and the Astros.
Yeah. No, that does not apply here. but even, let's say you just have somebody that you can't stand, you loathe them. Even still, like, it's not okay to lie, to mischaracterize, to misconstrue. Like, that is never okay for a believer, because we are called to be people of truth.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, so this is like right here. This would save a whole lot of Twitter nonsense. How many church fights, like in-person church fights, would this solve if we just stopped here? Is it true?
Yeah.
And then move forward from there.
Yeah. Number two, is it helpful, Bart Barber? No, Bart in his 30 tweet threads, usually 100% true. I usually give them a hard time on whether or not they're helpful or necessary, as we're going to get to in a moment. Those kind of go together, like a good acronym. Usually there's one that we're just trying to finish the word. But is it helpful? Right. So assuming what you want to post is true, right? Because we've already decided, hopefully, by the power of the Holy Spirit, that you're not going to post something that's a lie or mischaracterized. So it's true. Now, is this helpful? Is this something that I need to share? Right? I just picked a booger. That might be true. That's not something that's helpful that I need to post on social media, right? That was untrue. I did not just now pick a booger, but I'm sure at some point in my life I did. Anyway, is what I want to post. It's true. So is it actually helpful? Is it something that needs to be out in the social media Twitter sphere? Is it helpful? Right? So Kyle, talk about that real quick.
Yeah, I think you touched on it. I mean, is this going to um, help the overall discourse of whatever? So whatever the topic is this going to encourage um, a way forward? Is it going to help this, or is it just going to? Am I just going to unleash my anger
Yeah.
and not really, not really further a discussion?
Yeah.
And look again. We've probably all found ourselves in this, making a comment and then saying, "I'm not sure that was really helpful," but man, it felt so good at the time, right? To hit send on that tweet or that text message or that email or and yeah, just pause now. Is this going to help the situation? I think one way we've talked about it before is this going to put gasoline on a fire or water?
Yeah.
And which is the way to go here?
Yours truly was guilty of this. I believe it was the COVID year. Dad was pretty sick. My dad was pretty sick. All I really had at the time, what it seemed like, was baseball, and the Astros actually made it somehow with, I think, like a losing record into the playoffs, and we started running the table and doing really good, and they're like constant, and of course it was right after the big scandal, all that kind of stuff, and it was like I could not post about it without something, and I finally, it was like 10:30 at night, I snapped, and I typed up one by one a tweet thread that would rival anything that Bart ever shared with every single cheating scandal from every single team in the Major League Baseball, and with some kind of a pithy statement on each one. And yet they still lost in the World Series, and yet once again they choked and couldn't make it to the finish. Whatever, like I would add something to it. Everything I posted was 100% true, and it was 110% unhelpful. And so I eventually took that thing down. So number three, is it inspiring? That would go into that one. That inspired nobody.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't lifting anybody up. And here's the thing, man. It's not out there. We're not telling you to go out and just be Mr. Rose-colored glasses all the time, all of that kind of stuff, and just rays of sunshine onto Twitter. Like that's not what we're asking. That'd probably be great, but that'd be kind of weird. But hey, a lot of guys are struggling. And, we've talked about this before. I still don't think we have truly recovered from COVID and just like the shutdowns and all of that kind of pent up kind of just angst for so long. And we see the volatility, of course, across the country with the shootings and everything else. Like there's just a lot of people that are just not doing great right now. We're not talking necessarily 100% mental health. Like there's some that just aren't doing really great. And the last thing they probably need is something that's true that you might think is helpful to share that's just tearing people down. And so ask yourself, is what I'm saying true? Yes. Is it going to be helpful? I think so. Or is it building people up or tearing them down? Like that's probably that third question you need to ask. Is it inspiring? Kyle, take it.
Yeah, your words have power. And if you're on social media, there is someone that follows you on Twitter, that's friends with you on Facebook, that is affected by your work. And you can either, as you said, you can either use those to build up or to tear down. So even if it's true, even if it's you think it's helpful, and a lot of us think that, oh man, what I'm about to say is very helpful because people care what I think. They probably don't care as much as you think they care. In all honesty. So, but I tell you what will make a difference is when if you are truly seeking to build each other's up, each other up, build others up. even if you disagree with something, you can address it in a way that is not seeking to tear the building down as you go through.
Yeah, and anybody that follows me on Twitter knows that I follow a very simple recipe for Twitter engagement. Right in the morning, something from Spurgeon. That obviously I can find stuff in Spurgeon that is hard hitting and all of that kind of stuff, and just right between the eyes. But usually I'm thinking, what's something that if somebody pops on here in the morning that may just take them from waking up on the wrong side of the bed to, oh, this is going to be a good day. I've been inspired, whatever it is. And so I share that. That's usually about it. During the day, I might share a picture of a lunch I have with a pastor. And then on the weekend, Saturday, Sunday, same thing every week. And very similar to, now I can't think of his name. Oh my goodness. The guy at Southern, our buddy, come on. You know who I'm talking about that does a very similar thing. Croft.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Very similar, where it's something like, hey, it's Saturday night. You're finishing your sermon.
Yeah.
Look over it again, and then just go to bed and get up in the morning and get ready to preach the word. And sometimes I'll get like a text from Dean and Sarah that's like, "Oh, I didn't know I was going to go to sleep tonight." Or like it kind of give me a hard time about it. But yet, for every Dean and Sarah that's out there, I get like a message, direct message, call or something. Hey, thank you for that encouragement. I was still struggling to kind of wrap this thing up, and I just needed that kind of prompting to go to bed or to let go or whatever it is. And then Sunday morning, same thing. Hey, remember, there's somebody coming today that almost didn't come. Are they going to hear Jesus, or are they going to hear your great ideas? Like, just give them Jesus, something like that. Kyle?
Yeah, and so the idea behind this one, especially, and is it inspiring? Ephesians 4:29, no foul language should come from your mouth. So if you're going to post like an expletive-filled rant, you should not. Don't do that. No foul language should come from your mouth, but only what is good for building up someone in need. Here's this is good, so that it gives grace to those who hear.
Yeah,
I like that. So will it give grace to those who hear or read what you are about to post?
Yep. All right. Number next, is it necessary?
Probably not.
At this point, anything you post on social media is probably not necessary. Nobody
That's
cares.
True.
I'm just kidding. Is it necessary? This goes back to maybe the helpful thing. I think it's kind of redundant there, but is it necessary? Is this something that needs to be said right now? Is like some of these things, is it true, helpful, inspiring, all of that kind of stuff could be there. And then it's just not the right timing for it. Like, read the room. Is this the time to say this? Or maybe should I let this temperature die down just a little bit and then share this? Like, is it necessary to share this right now? Kyle, do you have anything to add to that, or do you want to move on to the final one?
No, let's go on to the last one. That's good.
All right. Is it kind? And we're not talking about a kind bar, but finally, is this kind? Am I just being a punk? Is this something? Here's something to ask. Is this something that X or at X, whoever this is that you're talking to, invites you to coffee? This is the first thing that you're going to say to them.
Yep.
Like, is this something that's sitting over a lunch table or a coffee table that I'm going to say this to their face? Is it kind? Is it uplifting? And again, we're not saying that everything has to be rose colored. All like there's times that truth hurts and all of that kind of stuff, salt and light, all of that. But is it kind, or am I just trying to tear them down, belittle them, prove a point, whatever it is? You might be right, but being right the wrong way makes you wrong every time. And sometimes that comes down to the heart matter of if it's kind. And there's things, and here's the deal. This can't really be decided by the person on the other side of the screen. It's black and white. It's a flat media, and something that you say that's true, that you think is helpful, inspiring, necessary, and you did it out of the kindness of your heart, and everything was all on the up and up and all of that kind of stuff, but yet is taken the wrong way. There's nothing you can really do about that. This is ultimately an issue that's going to be between you and God and the Holy Spirit that's in you. Is what I'm about to click send on, is it kind? And the answer to every time that I at Bart Barber is absolutely not. but we're having fun. We're poking one, he does the same thing. But so is it true? Is it helpful? Is it inspiring? Is it necessary? Is it kind? Kyle, any final thoughts on kind or the rest of these?
Yeah. So kindness is a fruit of the Spirit, right? And so if you don't care whether or not the way that you're interacting is kind, again, even with someone maybe that you don't get along with, maybe someone that you just absolutely despise, again, it doesn't matter. It's kindness, right? So in Titus 3:2, remind them to submit to rulers and authorities, to obey, to be ready for every good work. That was 3:1 to set this up. Here's 2. To slander no one, to avoid fighting, and to be kind, always showing gentleness to all people. So there you go, right? Is this kind? Even if what I'm saying is a criticism, is it kind? And then I followed that up with 2 questions that I think are helpful as well. And that is simply this. Is this, if you're on social media, is this the best place to do this? Right? Is commenting on Twitter the best way to address this? And then, is what I'm saying, is the way I'm saying it's the best way to address it. And then secondly, is this the best forum to address this?
Yeah.
So is this better? Would this be better in a phone call or a text message or a personal email rather than blasting it out for all the world to see?
Yeah.
Now, Twitter, social media, it's public space, right? So, I mean, sometimes things are posted publicly and you feel like you can respond to it publicly. Okay, I get that. But still, maybe there's a better way, especially if you know the person, maybe there's a better way to go about addressing it rather than putting them on blast on social media.
All right. Speaking of putting them
on, because even though you may have good intentions, there are people who might latch on to that and pile on in a way that you didn't even intend, and there are unintended consequences.
All right. Let's put some rubber on the road. Thinking through something that's true, helpful, inspiring, necessary, kind. Best way to say it, best forum to say it is this podcast. Let's call some people out. Let's call who does all of this stuff the wrong way. And we'll start with
Matt Hensley.
Just kidding. So I want to say, somebody that does this really well, and I kind of feel bad because I forgot his name a moment ago, is Brian Croft. Brian Croft's out there just encouraging the socks off of pastors just about every single day. Mondays is like, hey, this is not the day to quit. This isn't the day to resign.
Yep.
Plow, just keep moving forward. Give me somebody else, Kyle.
Mark Clifton does this really well. I mean, he's inspiring. He'll post helpful things. His Monday with Marks are always geared towards helping a pastor who's maybe had a rough weekend.
Time out. He literally pays you now to ultimately say this. I'm just kidding. I 100% agree. Yeah, Mondays.
That's how I got connected with the guy, because I read his book and I was helped. I was inspired. I reached out and I began to get to know him and Bob and some of the guys on the team, and found out, hey, they're all like this. So yeah, but it's true. Like, you watch these Mondays with Mark, there's a reason he posts them on Monday nights, because he knows, you got a lot of pastors that wake up on Monday morning going, man, what on earth am I doing? And he wants to, just like Brian, he wants to help keep them from throwing in the towel.
No. It's Mondays with Mark, because his name is Mark. It starts with
M. Okay.
There's no other, like, if his name was Tom, then it would be Tuesdays with Tom or Thursdays. Or if it was Wayne, it would be Wednesdays with Wayne. If it was Frank, it would be Fridays with Frank. That's what we do. So don't say it's just month. I'm just kidding.
I have no good pithy thing like that.
Nope. Killing it Fridays with Kyle. I don't know. Kicking it with Kyle on Fridays. There you go. That's you can wind down the week. Okay. Before I say anything that I don't need to say, even if it's true, because it would be unhelpful, uninspiring, unnecessary, and unkind, Kyle, send us out.
Hey, thanks for listening. And until next time, may your coffee be as black as night and as bold as the gospel you declare.
What's wrong with you people?